Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Right to the Top. It's me again, Adam. So today I'm only going to do 2 questions because I think 4 might have been a bit too long of a video. So today I'm going to focus on 2 questions, and both of these questions have to do with the same topic, which is why I put them together. So I'm going to look at basically how to write a cover letter and how to keep the word count lower than you might normally do, because some people tend to overwrite. Okay, so cover letter, that's our topic for today. So let's start. Okay, so let's start with our first question. This is from Ruiz 1005. How to write a covering letter if I apply for some job? That's the question. That's how it was posted on the YouTube channel. So again, this is a very general question. The more general the questions, the more general the answers are going to be. So if you can, try to be a little bit more specific. But I'll give you some tips about how to write a cover letter when you're applying for a job. First thing to remember, your cover letter will accompany your resume, right? You're sending 2 things at the same time. In most cases, the person doing the hiring will look at your resume first. That's very important to keep in mind, but I'll get to that in a moment. So first of all, keep your cover letter to no more than 1 page. If you're over into your 2nd page, it's too long. The person who's accepting these applications, not even going to start reading. When they see 2 pages, you're in the rejection bin already. They're not even giving you a chance. Okay. Another thing to remember is we'll go back to the resume. They're probably reading that first. So they have all the details about your qualifications, your experiences, your education, your technical skills, language skills, all that information. Do not summarize your resume in your cover letter. This is the biggest mistake that people make. Anything that is covered in the resume should not be in the cover letter, because then you're just repeating information that they already have. Okay, so keep that in mind, and that is also applicable to the how to keep the word count down, which I'll talk about in a minute. So what you want to do with items in your resume is you want to expand on them. So if you have certain experiences or you're able to use certain tools or like certain software, what you want to do in the cover letter is show me the impact of that experience, or what you can do with your qualifications, or what you can use your certain language. Like let's say you know how to use Python. If you're applying for a job that has something to do with coding, tell me something about you and that skill that I can't see in the resume. So for example, if you taught yourself how to use Python, put that in the cover letter, because that's probably not something you're going to mention in the resume. By showing the employer, the person hiring, that you are self-taught, it means that you can learn other things as well, right? You're very adaptable. You can learn things that they want you to learn quickly and easily and apply them. So that's very, very good for the cover letter. Now, another very important thing to remember about a cover letter is that while the resume shows your qualifications, the cover letter has to show who you are as a person. So they're looking to see, who am I going to be working with? Who is going to be my coworker? Who is going to be my employee? Who is going to be a part of my team? So they want to see a person. So that's another reason you don't want to summarize the resume. You want to give a little bit of personality in your cover letter. It's also very important to do. So with that comes the idea of, how can you help them? The fact that you want the job, or that you really love this company and you've been following it for a long time, they don't care, because it's not important to them. What can you do for them? What can you do for the employer? That's the important thing. That's what you need to cover in your cover letter. So basically, you're selling yourself, and you're selling yourself as a benefit to the company, to the employer. Right? So what can you offer them? What skills or expertise are you bringing with you? And again, not repeating the resume, the impact of those skills, the impact of that expertise, how all of these things can directly help the company. What accomplishments have you gotten? Like let's say you increased a company's sales by 50% in 1 year. That's something that as an employer, I want to know, because maybe you can do that for me as well, as part of my team, right? So it's always selling yourself with them in mind. Always keep the reader in mind. It's not about you, it's about them and you helping them. Another thing that's very important in the cover letter, this is where you get a chance to show the employer why you chose to apply to this particular company. If I'm an employer and I put out a job ad and I'm looking for staff and I get many, many resumes, many cover letters, if I have a feeling that you wrote one cover letter and you sent the same cover letter to 20 different companies, I don't want you, because I don't think that you really want me. You'll take any job you can get. That's not the kind of employee I want. I want an employee who knows why they want to work for me, who knows why my company is the best fit for them, right? So make sure that they understand you chose them for a reason, which is why you have to tailor your cover letter, even your resume to a certain extent. Tailor your cover letter for each particular job. Make sure that you research the company. Make sure that you get some keywords from their websites. Again, if you're applying for a big company, they're not even reading it. They're putting into a software program. The software program looks at it first and looks for the keywords. If you pass that stage, then a human being will read it and decide if they want to give you an interview, right? So also keep that in mind. Make sure that they know you have a reason for applying for this job. Now, in terms of the voice that you're going to be writing with, like how you're going to be presenting yourself, be confident, but not arrogant. Means you can demonstrate things that you can do, but don't show off. There's other people who have similar qualifications as you have, or similar experiences, and even more qualifications and more experiences. So be confident in yourself, but also be humble at the same time. Be passionate, like you really, really want this job. You really want to be in this industry. You really want to work for this company, but don't be desperate. Like if you don't get this job, no problem. You'll apply somewhere else. You'll find a job somewhere because you have the confidence in yourself. So confident, but not arrogant, passionate, but not desperate, and ambitious, but not fanatical. Means to show them you're a hard worker, but not a workaholic, right? They want to see somebody who has their own life a little bit too, somebody who can get along with co-workers, who's a real person, right? Somebody who has other interests besides just work, besides just money and power and position, right? So they want to see a well-rounded person, a real well-rounded human being. Now, all of this information I've given you so far is basically the general ideas you need to think about when writing your cover letter. In terms of the actual letter itself, start with a salutation, dear sir, dear madam, dear sir or madam, to whom it may concern. If you know specifically the person who will receive the cover letter, use that person's name. Dear Mr., dear Miss somebody, etc. Your opening paragraph, your introduction, get to the point quickly. Now, if you're not entirely sure how to begin, just say, I am writing in response to your advertisement on this website on this date for this position. That's if you don't know how to write any other way, because it's a little bit bland, it's a little bit boring. They see this 1,000 times. If you can, have a bit of a hook. Grab their attention right away. Start right away with a qualification. Start right away with an accomplishment that you think will fit this job and make them want to continue reading, right? But again, don't force it. So you can use an achievement. You can, if you know that they're working on a particular project that you think you would be a good fit for, mention that right away. If you can offer a solution to a problem you think they may have or may face down the road, start with that as well. Don't get into too many details. This is just the introduction paragraph, but grab the reader's attention. But do it quickly so they know exactly what position you're applying for. They may have more than one position available and why you want to have this job. Then your first body paragraph, talk about you, your background. What have you done? What have you learned? Where you want to go, where you see yourself going a little bit, because that's going to be a bit more in the next paragraph. But again, sell yourself as somebody who is qualified and ready to take on this position. Okay. In the next body paragraph, like we'll call it this body paragraph 2, make sure that you talk about the company or the employer. Make sure that there's a reason, this is where you show why you want to work for this person and why you are a good fit for this company, why the two of you can benefit from each other. They will benefit from your experience, from your expertise. You will benefit from growing with this company. So let's say you're applying to a startup. You see a huge potential for this company and you want to be a part of this growth. You think that in the future you can be a senior manager, or you can be president, or you could be whatever of the company. Again, don't go overboard. You don't want to take over the company. You don't want to scare them like you're trying to take over somebody's job, but make sure that they understand that you're ready to grow with the company. Next paragraph, give them some sort of opportunity for communication. I'm available for an interview at your request. I can meet you on Zoom. I can come to your office. If you have any questions, ... Then close it off. I look forward to hearing from you. And your name, and that's it. So that's essentially a cover letter. But again, every cover letter is going to be unique because you are unique. And every company you're applying for is unique. So make sure you tailor your cover letter for each position. So that's the first question. That's generally the cover letter. Let's go on to the next question. Okay, so now we're going to look at the second question. This is from Amreza to Egypt. My question is that how to write in a shorter way instead of writing too many words that can be summarized or rephrased into reduced word counts. This is especially in emails and cover letters for job hunting. Okay, so again, a couple of things I'm going to repeat that I said in the first for the first question, but they're very relevant to reducing word count. So first of all, the first tip in reducing word count is focus on your employer's needs. Don't write too much about yourself. You have one paragraph to show what you've learned, what you can do, what you can offer. The rest is about the employer. So focus all your words on how the employer can benefit, and that way you're focusing your words. That way you're not using too many words that really don't add anything and don't say anything, right? So again, what can you offer them? Not, I worked here and here and here and here. Remember, they already saw your resume. Don't waste words on things they already know. Tip number 2, and this is a little bit tricky. Again, if you're not a native English speaker and writing is not your top skill, it might be a bit difficult, but you have to work on it. You have to do a few drafts. And ideally, if you can get somebody to look at your cover letter and give you suggestions or maybe do some edits, do that. So here's an example of something I've seen people write. For example, I have worked for company X for 15 years. In that time, I worked in the A department, the B department, the C department, like whatever departments in the company. I am currently the senior manager in the D department. In this role, I do A, B, and C, right? So here are 41 words that say absolutely nothing new from the resume. Everything that is here, they already know because you put it in your resume, or you should have put it in your resume. If you didn't, then check your resume. Also, another problem here is that you use the word I 4 times. That means it's I. You're only focused on yourself. They don't care. It's not nice to say, but they don't actually care about you yet. After they hire you, then they'll probably care about you more. But at the moment, you are nothing to them. You are nobody. Don't focus too much on yourself. Here's another way to write a sentence like this. Over my 15 years with Company X, I have continuously developed and built on my technical skills as well as leadership abilities. This resulted in several promotions and an expertise that will help your company buy and then show them how you do it. So I have fewer words. I have 36 words, and I use the word I once. Because at some point you have to say I, because it is about you at the end of the day, but not too many I's, not too many me's or my's or etc. Right? Focus on them, not yourself. So all you're doing is you're putting a lot of information into every single sentence. This is what I mean by dense, thick, or as another way to say it is thick sentences with lots of details that show something about you that they might not be able to see in the resume. Right? always think about impact. All the things that are in your resume, how do they impact you? How do they impact your career? How do they impact your thinking? How will they help you grow with the company? How will they help the company grow, etc.? And tip number 3, word choice. This is where you have to develop a broad vocabulary, right? If you don't have a broad vocabulary, build it, because you're going to need it. Because ultimately, this is how you reduce word counts. So here, let me give you an example. I hope to one day be able to oversee an entire department. I hope to one day be able to. So I have all these words. Instead, I can write, I aspire to oversee an entire department. With one word, I got rid of all those filler words that I didn't need, right? So you have to have a good vocabulary base. And especially if you're a non-native English speaker, this will be a bit of a challenge. But again, you can get an editor to help you. You can use a thesaurus, which is like a dictionary, except it gives you synonyms and antonyms, but work on it. And do not, this is a very important tip, and this applies to everything you write, cover letters, essays, emails, reports, etc. Don't send a first draft. When you finish writing your cover letter, put it aside. Wait a day, 2 days, 3 days, come back and look at it again, and you'll see things that you missed or see mistakes that you didn't realize the first time. And the first thing you want to do, take the cover letter, reduce the word count by at least 5%. And then you'll see how it gets tighter and tighter and tighter. Okay. So those are my tips for cover letter and reducing word count. Again, if you need help with your cover letter, you can go to editorproof.com. I am a professional editor as well. This is what I do when I'm not making YouTube videos. So I can help you with that. You can go get more information there. And if you have more questions, as usual, put them in the comment section below and I'll make a video to try to help you guys out with those. Don't forget to subscribe. Click on the notification button. If you like the video, click like and come back. I'll give you more of these videos about all kinds of different writing tips and tools that you need. Okay? See you next time. Bye-bye.